Story time about how my aunt drugged me. So a little background information, I was 16 and in 10th grade. And I had never met my aunt before, but whenever my parents talked about her, it was only bad things. Well, the one day I went to go and ask my mom something and I heard her on the phone with someone. She was like, no, I'm not giving you any more money. It's not my fault if you spent it all on drugs. And we barely talked about my aunt, so I didn't know that's who she was talking to. Fast forward, I come home from school the one day and my dad's sitting on the porch with this woman who looks like she's homeless. My dad introduces her. He's like, oh, by the way, this is your aunt. He was like, oh, well, she wants to spend some time with you, so you're going to go with her for a few hours. I was hesitant because of all of the stuff that my mom had told me about her, but I started walking down to her car and my mom whips in the driveway. Eventually, my aunt ends up talking my mom into letting me see her, and apparently my aunt has been asking to see me for a very long time. So she takes me to the mall, we eat, we get our nails done, and at this point, I'm thinking she's kind of normal until she takes me to her house. Like for part 2. Story time. Everybody's saying that I cheated on my ex-boyfriend, but I want your guys' opinion. So a little background information. I was a college student, and I had been with this guy who we're going to call Jacob for about 6 months. Towards the end of his and I's relationship, stuff just started to get really boring, and every day I would get the ick from him. Now, at this time also, I had gotten a new job. While I was working, I had met this guy who we're going to call Tim. Since I was a college student, I decided to start working more, so Tim and I would see each other literally every day. Him and I really hit it off, like straight away. Not to mention, him and I had a lot of things in common, his sense of humor was great. Well, the one night before work got out, Tim asked for my number, and I said yes. However, since I was still with Jacob, I decided that I was going to break up with him before I texted Tim. So, I broke up with him. Fast forward to now, Tim and I are in a super good relationship. But now everyone's saying that I cheated on Jacob. What do you guys think? Part 3 about how I got my toxic ex-best friend jumped. So like I said, on the third night, she was sleeping, so we went on her phone. I deleted all of the blackmail that she had on me, and I even went a step further and screenshotted all of the nudes that she was sending back and forth with older guys. And these guys were way older than her, like way older. And I sent them to myself and deleted the text off of her phone. Fast forward, we drop her off at her house. I stay over my friend's house and we decide that we're going to post everything to my exposing page. And we also came up with a really good idea. Why not send this to Tessa's parents? So we sent them to her parents. And guys, when I tell you this exposing page had so many people on it, it really did. Somebody was like, OMG, like, please send a face reveal, like, I won't tell anybody. So what did I do? I sent a picture of Tessa. And that person posted it to their Snapchat story. Fast forward to the first day of school. We're outside for gym class and 3 girls beat her out. And all you have to do to enter is share this YouTube video on your Instagram stories. Just promote it, you know, copy the link, put it on there, and tag me on my Instagram. My Instagram will be linked down below. And you will be entered into the giveaway. But without further ado, we are going to get into today's story time. So let me bring you guys up close. There we go. Okay, so story time about my extremely bipolar best friend. So a little background information. I was a sophomore in high school and I was 16 years old and I had just gotten my brand new car. See, this was honestly like the best thing that could happen for me, okay? I had worked my ass off for this car. I had extremely good grades. I had an under the table job so that way I could make some money to put towards the car. And I was kissing my parents' ass day and night for the past year. Literally year. Well, my best friend, who we're gonna call Lisa, she was the complete opposite of me. When she wanted something, all she had to do was ask mommy and daddy. She would take advantage of everybody, and drama always revolved around her. Like, sis was out here doing the most. For no reason at all. Like, I remember the one day we were sitting in class and she was like, should I pull that girl's hair? We didn't even know the girl. She was brand new to the school. And I was like, no, don't do that, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, well, I'm bored. Goes up to the girl while she's walking past her to go turn her paper in and just yanks her ponytail on the way past. The girl didn't do anything. She didn't even tell the teacher. She just looked behind her and then was like, went back to doing her work. I felt so bad. But I was best friends with this girl. even though we just happen to be complete opposites. And how did we meet, you're probably wondering? Well, when I was younger, my parents put me into gymnastics, and she just happened to be in my class. And ever since then, we were inseparable. Like, there wasn't a time where I didn't imagine this girl in my life. My parents had never liked her, though. I thought that it might have been because whenever we were younger, they didn't really agree with her parents' parenting skills, so I thought that they were just holding that against Lisa. But come to find out, soon you guys will find out why they actually didn't like her. But they would tolerate her, you know. They thought that she was an extremely bad influence. They did not want me to act anything like her. Pause real quick. To be honest, why do I feel like parents are always right in these situations? Like, I remember having so many friends that are now no longer my friends, no longer even a part of my life, that my parents were right about. Like, I thought that they just hated all of my friends for no reason. No, in the end, they ended up being right about everything. Like, I remember I was friends with this one girl, and I have no idea why, but my dad was like, oh, she seems like she could be sneaky. I was like, okay, whatever, you don't even know her. You've talked to her for like 2 seconds, you know. And what happened? She ended up sending nudes to the guy that I liked. Yeah. Resume. I could kind of see where they were coming from, but not really, okay? Well, it wasn't until the summer of 9th grade when Lisa was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, right? But we would literally always joke about it because we would be like, oh my god, like, Lisa, you're so bipolar. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Now I see why she was diagnosed with bipolar, but like, you know, when you think of somebody like who's bipolar, you think of somebody who's like, I want to eat pickles. No, I want potatoes. No, I actually want pickles. No, I want potatoes. Yeah, no, I now understand the true definition of bipolar. But anyways, that really never changed our friendship, okay? Because like I said before, I never saw that side to her, you know? She was always nice to me. She was always a good friend. But like I said, that all changed my sophomore year of high school when I got the car for my birthday. Whew. Grab your popcorn, folks, because it's about to get crazy. So I'm at my birthday party. It's Lisa, my family, maybe like 3 other friends, which I wasn't really friends with, but my parents were friends with their friends, so they showed up. Confusing, I know. Try to keep up. Well, when we were inside after we had cake and I thought that I got all my birthday presents, my mom and my dad were like, okay, we have one more thing to show you. Let's all go outside. And we all go outside and it is my car with a pretty pink bow on the top. And they were like, happy birthday, sweetie. We're so proud of you. You know, like, you've been doing so good. This, that, and the next. Was like, period. Okay. Well, right after I took the bow off and I got in the car, I told Lisa, like, hey, come look, you know, like, look at the car. And she's like, I could feel the energy in the room. There was so much tension, you could literally slice it with a knife. It was like when you're at a birthday party and a 5-year-old is jealous that another 5-year-old got a present. Like, it was like, girl, come on. So, little backstory, right? Lisa did not get a car for her birthday because she was caught driving underage. She didn't have a permit or anything, and she was drunk. So her parents were like, hell no, you are not getting a car for your 16th birthday. I'm also pretty sure that she can't drive until she's 18 or 20. I have no idea, but she wasn't allowed to drive for a long time. Well, after I told her to come and get in the car, she literally made the biggest scene the day after my birthday because I sent her a bunch of texts on my birthday and I was like, all right, I'm not dealing with this at this point. So then the next day while I'm at the zoo, I get a text from her and she's like, hey, sorry I left earlier. I was just really upset about the car, you know, like I thought I was gonna get one for my birthday, even though I was there when her parents specifically told her she wasn't getting one for her birthday, but okay. Whatever. And then she calls me, so I go to the bathroom while I'm with my family, and she's like sobbing on the phone, like trying to make me feel bad about the fact that I got a car. No offense, but you did not deserve one. Like, the whole reason why she got pulled over whenever she was underage, like whenever she was driving, was because she went up the wrong freaking way of the highway. She went up an exit lane. So, yeah, I can see why you did not get a car. So after we got over the whole car thing, right? A few months later, everything went back to normal. I got my driver's license because I only had my permit at the time. whenever I got the car. So, like I said, finally I got my license and I started driving her and I to school. But she was super demanding that I come and pick her up and drive her every single day because she was my BFF. Well, the one day I was like, hey, I can't drop you off at your house today. I'm going to hang out with a boy after school. Thinking she would be super happy for me because this is a boy that I liked for a very long time. She was not. She thought that it was bullshit that I couldn't drive her home. She was giving me a super hard time about everything, trying to get me to change plans. Like, literally being manipulative as fuck. She was like, so what, you're gonna go hang out with some boy that you barely even know instead of taking your best friend home from school. She was like, you're literally so ridiculous. You're fake. You're this. You're that. She was like, watch, he's gonna lay the pipe and then he's gonna dump you right after. And I'm like, girl, where is all this coming from? Where is it coming from? Like, sis was acting like a psycho. She was like one of those friends, you know, one of those friends where you can't have any other friends or anything like that, and you can't do anything without her, and if you do, they'll get jealous. She was like that type of friend. So I said, fuck that shit, and I sent her a text saying, well, now this is a you problem, so I'm gonna go hang out with Derek and you can go do what you want. So I get home around 6 o'clock, right? And my mom knew that I was going to a boy's house and everything like that, but then she's like, hey, why did you leave Lisa at school? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, Lisa's parents called me saying that you were supposed to go and take her home from school, and her parents are pissed off because that was the whole plan. Well, then I showed my mom the text messages and my mom was like, so what do I tell our parents? I was like, nothing. I was like, I don't give a fuck. And my mom was low-key proud of me for standing my ground. So period. Well, then I go up to my room, I put my stuff away, and I go to text her about what she told her parents, and she fucking blocked me.
He blocked me. What a loser. Literally, what a loser.
On everything. So because I'm a dumb bitch, I spent the next 3 days trying to get her to talk to me. For what reason, I don't know. I should have just left her alone at that point. But finally, I got her to talk to me just to make a deal with her. A deal with her, right? What's the deal, you might ask? Well, the deal was that I had to drive her to and from school every day, no ands, ifs, or buts about it. Now, you're probably wondering, girl, why would you agree to something like that? Well, let me tell you, okay? I feel like it was because I was low-key still holding on hope that my old best friend, who was actually a really good best friend to me, was still in there somewhere, you know? Because like I said, I'd never seen this side to her. This was the side that I saw her show to other people, but I never thought that it would flip back on me like that. So in all honesty, I low-key feel bad for myself, you know? Even though these are red flags that I should have saw as soon as we got into our friendship, but you know. Because I'm not even joking, she probably started acting like a... I saw her act to a bitch to everybody when we were in like 5th grade. That's when she started like actually being a mean girl, you know? So anyways, of course I said yes, even though literally 5 seconds before, whenever I was reading the text, I was like, I'm nobody's bitch, but I'll be yours. It's embarrassing. Well, 3 weeks into this, I was really hoping that she would forget about the little deal that we made, right? Because I hadn't texted her or talked to her the whole day, but then I get a text saying, hey, I'm outside in the parking lot by your car. Fuck my life. Well, the problem with this is I had just gotten a root canal 2 hours before this. I only came to school for a test and I really wanted to go home, get some medicine, and go to sleep. Well, at that point, I was like, all right, I have to stick up for myself, you know. Hopefully she'll understand that I just had a root canal and that I really just want to go to fucking sleep. That's all I want in my life. So I was like, hey, like the buses are still outside, so could you possibly take one home? I just got a root canal today. I really want to go home and go to sleep. That set her off. She absolutely freaked the fuck out. She was like, what a lame cop-out. She was like, you're a fake-ass friend. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you swore that you would take me home every day. And it's not like we lived 2 minutes down the street or anything. She lived 20 minutes away from my fucking house. So I just don't respond to her. I'm like, whatever, I'll let her have her freak out. We'll probably talk tomorrow, work things out. It'll be fine. It'll be fine, right? wrong. Because the next day I walk into my homeroom and she runs into the classroom and just starts screaming at me like it was bad. And there were 10 other people in there just standing around watching her scream at me, treat me like a piece of shit. So I didn't talk to her for the rest of the week. Eventually we run into each other at the mall. I try to keep walking. She like runs over to me and she's like, hey, like I wanted to talk. I'm so sorry about what happened. I let my emotions get the best of me again. I'm sorry. She tells me about how she's been off her meds, this, that, and the next. And I'm like, girl, no offense, but I don't believe you this time. Because she's used that exact same excuse, like, sorry, I'm off my meds. I can treat you however I want to treat you, you know. Again, I forgave her. I know, please do not come for me. I know. We agreed that friends having fights are normal and that we can move past this. So the next day I woke up and what do I know? Lisa is back on her bullshit again. And let me tell you, this is literally less than 24 hours we had that conversation. And it was getting to the point where our friendship was getting super draining. Like 1 minute she would be happy. The next minute she would act like a bitch for the next 2 weeks. You know, it was just ridiculous. I wake up to a text message saying, hey, when are you gonna come pick me up? And her and I had talked about this literally in our conversation. I was like, you just have to understand, like sometimes I can't come and pick you up. She was like, yeah, no, I know. She was like, I'll be more understanding next time. It's fine. It wasn't fine, clearly. So I'm sitting there staring at this text like an idiot and I'm like, reading it over and over and over again because I'm like, girl, what did we just fucking talk about? And I was like, hey, like, you know, I can't. And she's like, what do you think? I just forgave you so you wouldn't ride me to school? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. So I'm also sitting there and I'm like, did this bitch really just say that she only forgave me so that way I would give her a ride to school? Because that's what it's sounding like. So at that point, I gave no fucks anymore and I literally ripped her a new asshole over the phone. I was like, I can't do this anymore. You're actually like a terrible fucking friend. I was like, I don't know what has been going on with you throughout like the past few months. I was like, but you can't just treat people like shit. This is why nobody wants to be your friend because you're a fucking bitch to everybody. Well, eventually I calmed down and I get to school and Lisa is purposely standing by the door talking shit with a whole bunch of people that I know she does not give a one fuck about. She's giving me dirty look after dirty look. So I just fucking walk past her because I'm not dealing with the bullshit anymore. But that did not bother me one bit because I was used to her giving me dirty looks 24/7. But I knew something was extremely wrong whenever she was talking to my ex-boyfriend who she absolutely hates. Like with a passion. She punched him in the face for me. Back whenever she found out that he was cheating on me. So I knew something was up. So I went home that day and I initially thought that she was just gonna fuck him to try and get back at me, you know, the usual ex-best friend thing that people do, right? Couldn't have been more wrong. She got him to send her my nudes. Yeah, which then she made a little collage with, posted it to Instagram, and tagged almost every single person in our grade. I was extremely embarrassed. I had 40 guys in my DMs asking to hang out, hook up, you know, all that stuff. So what do? Of course I go home and of course I tell my parents what happened, and they're pissed off that there were even naked pictures of me out there on the internet. But they ended up going to the school. The school ended up finding that he was the one who sent her the nude pictures. So the next day my parents and I went to the school and we had filed a police report and everything like that. They called down my ex-boyfriend, they called down Lisa, blah, blah, blah. I didn't even know that schools could do this, but they were able to go and look at the text. And they did find out that he sent her all of those nudes of me. He got expelled. Lisa was expelled also. I think a few months later, while I was scrolling on Instagram, my new best friend, who is not toxic at all, I'm still best friends with her till this day, sent me a video saying I guess she got karma, and it was a video of her getting her face stomped into the ground. By the way, my parents and I were going to take more legal action, but whenever we had spoke with with my uncle who was a lawyer. He was like, listen, there's most likely no way you're gonna win this. He was like, when you're going against somebody who has mental illness, it is very rare that it will go in your favor. So that was nice to know too. So fast forward to today, I will say I do still hate her with a passion, but after my nudes and everything got leaked, when I turned 18, I started an OnlyFans, and I am making more money than I ever would have going to college. So even though everything worked out for me, I do have a little advice for you guys. Make sure that if your best friend treats somebody else like shit, just be aware that they could completely do a 360 and treat you the exact same way that they treat everybody else. Okay, everybody, that is the end of today's story time. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of me, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And if you want to know when I post my next video, make sure to click that bell. And like I said, I will be announcing the winners for the giveaway next week, no matter what. But I love you guys, and I will see you in the next story time. But it's happening, and I'm literally, I don't know how to feel. Like, I'm nervous, but like an excited nervous. Anyways, I am going to get a Brazilian wax later on this week. I'm scared for that. I'm probably gonna film a reaction video because I have a feeling I'm gonna cry and like quit in the middle of it. So yeah, but I've gotten my legs waxed before, and the leg wax was like super easy. Like, I'm 100% gonna do it again, and I'm never shaving my legs ever again. So yeah. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into today's story time. I'm going to bring you guys up close. There we go. All right, so just my quick usual rundown for most of the video. I'm going to be looking in this direction because my mirror's over here and I would like to see what I'm doing. These story times are sent in by anonymous people, and I do tell these story times in a first person point of view, so if you don't like that, then you can leave. That was a lot to say. Okay. And just another little by the way thing here. I'm a little uncomfortable telling this story time. When I read through it, I was like, what the fuck? To each their own. I don't judge. This is a no judgment zone. Except for the comments. I cannot control those. Okay, so story time about how I fucked my brother. Come on, guys. Anyways, a little background information. I was 15 and a freshman in high school. And yes, I know what you are probably thinking, but I would just like to enlighten you that it's not as bad as you think. It sounds pretty bad. Not gonna lie. So my mom and dad got divorced when I was only 7 years old, and that led to my mom getting remarried 2 years later to a guy named Tom. Now, I didn't mind Tom. Tom wasn't a bad guy or anything like that, but I was just pissed off at the fact that my mom decided to remarry very quickly. Well, Tom had already had 2 kids. He had a younger daughter who was 4 years younger than me. Complete bitch, by the way. And then he had an older son who was only a year older than me. Anyways, so like I said, Tom decided to marry my mother. For what? I don't know why. My mom was a gold digger at its finest, literally.
At all these lovely married couples, 50% of you will statistically divorce.
Like, I remember asking her why she liked Tom if they would fight 24/7. She was like,
well, sweetie, he has money, and sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Okay. He bought me the car that I wanted, and I wasn't even 16 yet, and he would literally buy me whatever I wanted. So at the end of the day, my mom took one for the team. Anyways, back to the story. So it was kind of weird having 2 new siblings that weren't my siblings because I was used to being an only child, you know? And I never had to deal with any of the sibling bullshit that I was now dealing with in my life. But eventually I got over it, and at one point our family actually started to look like a family, a healthy family, which was good. Well, fast forward to now, I am a freshman in high school and my life feels like it is falling apart. My boyfriend of a month just dumped me for a bitch who lets anybody lay the pipe. That was pretty sad. Not only that, I had to leave my best friend, who I have been best friends with since I was like in preschool, because Tom had to move for work. You know, I feel like I'm really the one taking one for the team here, you know? Like, I'm the one who had to sacrifice everything. Not my mother, not my mom. Sorry about that, everybody. My camera died and I just decided to do my eyeliner off camera. Back to the story. Well, lucky for me, I did have my older brother, Jack, to show me around and stuff like that. But whenever we were home, he would be a big asshole to me, right? Like, let me give you an example. The one time, had my book bag on, walking down the stairs, me and my 2 other siblings, and he kicks out the back of one of my knees, and I go falling down the stairs into a railing, smashed my nose off of it, and not to mention, I also fell through the railing and broke my arm. And at home, whenever our stepdad would ask, oh, like, how's your arm? Are you okay? He would be like, that bitch deserved it. You shouldn't have been walking so slow. But whenever we would be at school, he would be like, oh, like, you know, I'm sorry, like, how's your arm doing? If it hurts at all, let me know. If you need me to carry your books, let me know. And I was like, what a fake ass bitch. So yeah, pretty much he was nice and caring when we weren't at the house, but when we were, he would be the biggest douchebag in the entire world. Well, the one day he was just like being such a dick to me before we went to school in the morning, and when we got in the car, I was like, why are you so fucking mean to me? Because he also would drive me to school. See, that's what I mean. So nice to me once we walk out the front door, but other than that, asshole. So yeah, pretty much I asked him like, hey, like, why are you such a dick to me when we're at home, but then at school, like, you're super nice to me? And I'm not gonna lie, his answer was a little shocking, to say the absolute least. And he goes, I want to treat you like a queen, but I just can't when we're at home. And I'm like, what the fuck? What? Like, I was a little taken back because I was like, I just had no idea what he meant at all. I was like, okay. And then he was like, yeah, I'm just like scared to show you how I truly feel about you. Number 1, ew. Number 2, ew, what the fuck? So after that, thank goodness we were at school. I just got out of the car real quick and decided that I'm like your sister, but do you like me? And he goes, yeah, I like you. Why?
And I'm like, no. Do you like
me? He starts to look a little confused and awkward now. And then he pulls over to the side of the road. I thought he was going to murder me or punch the shit out of me or something. And he goes, I've liked you since the moment we met. So, my delusional ass self that I thought was delusional wasn't so delusional at all, if that makes sense. And he was like, I just knew the type of feelings that I had for you weren't right as a sibling. Ew, what the fuck? Well, now that he had told me this, the feelings that I had for him, aka just thinking I had a hot older brother, turned into different feelings. So obviously I told him that, you know, I like him, you know, and I felt the same way, even though that's not at all how I felt. And he was like, yeah, I just didn't know if you would feel the same way, so I was like scared to tell you. And I told him, okay, well, if we want to get to know each other on that level instead of a sibling level, we need to act normal. We can't let our parents know, because if they knew, they would have an aneurysm, okay? Okay. Which obviously he agreed with. So we both acted like everything was completely normal. He was mean to me and I would put up with it. So once we got there, my parents set up 3 tents. One for them, one for me and my little sister, and then one for my brother. Because I was just thinking that during the middle of the night, if my sister woke up, I'm gonna tell her that I had to go to the bathroom, and I would really just sneak into Jack's tent. And we could hang out. Well, later on in the middle of the night, I was half right, half not. Because Jack's tent was down further because he said that he wanted to be near the water or whatever. I went to his tent. My little sister didn't wake up, so I didn't need to worry about that. And I went over to his tent to hang out, but we didn't end up hanging out, if you know what I mean. The worst part was too, he didn't have a condom. Oh God, what type of Alabama shit is this? No offense if you live in Alabama. But yeah, no, he didn't have a condom. We did the nasty. And it ended up being really good until I saw a spider in his tent and I was trying not to freak out. So we continued to do this over the next few days and we never got caught. I mean,